Hey YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do a side-by-side look at the Mardel planners. So I have the new planner that came out, the 2019-2020, A Simple Plan for the Homeschooling Family. And this is the current one that I am still using. I just love Mardel planners. They've worked out very well for our family year after year, and so I continue to buy them. This video isn't sponsored in any way. I just really do like their planners, and I like sharing with you the improvements that they make from year to year on their planners. So right off the bat, I noticed that the new planner has a shorter binding here, and they still use that nice flexible spiral coil, but it's shorter and it's tighter. If you notice last year's binder, the current ones, it's really wide and it protrudes quite a bit from the binding, so it gets a little bit floppy, but it didn't cause any issues with the planning portion of the planner at all, but just something to take note of. I also noticed that they changed up the tabs. The current tabs here are very, let's say, tall, I guess, and they split quite a bit. So I've had to tape them. Nothing too major. Again, doesn't cause any issues with the planning portion of the planner, but just something to consider. And then I noticed that just the back kind of split a little bit, but I get a ton of use out of this, so it's just wear and tear in my opinion. But the tabs for this year's, they are shorter, they look like they're a little thicker, and so they've made some improvements in that area. So I want to go through this planner. It's kind of laid out the same as the other planner, but if you are new and you're just finding this video now, this might be helpful for you in figuring out what you like in a planner and if you like this type of planner. So this is a large family planner. This has enough space to fill in educational plans for 6 children. I only have 3 children that I homeschool, but this works beautifully for us, and I'll kind of show you how I use it in our homeschool. So I'll put this off to the side for now, and I'll come back and just show you what I do for planning in that one. So here, let's open it up. They still have the pocket for you to put your loose leaf paper in. There's a general info tab here. There's a welcome portion of this that you can read. It just tells you what's included. There's calendars, student plans, monthly planning pages, weekly assignment planning, student records, and extras, and then everything that's included here. They have lots of scripture throughout the entire planner, so you'll find lots of that. Mardel is a Christian company. They have a store, and they also have an online presence, so you can definitely go online, find them, or you can go to a store near you if there is one near you. Their planners are really great. I love them also because they improve upon them year after year. I did a video on last year's planner, and I feel like they're always making improvements, which is really nice. So this is just a page you can put who this belongs to. Here you have a section to put all your children's names, birthdays, and likes, etc. if you want to keep a record of that. Now they're going to show you some sample pages here. This is just an example of how you can fill it out. This is one student's weekly schedule, and you can put the subjects and curriculum down here. And then here is a yearly overview for one of the students for their math. And then you'll have multiple of these, so you can fill out one for math, science, etc. And those pages will be shown in the actual tabs. So here is a September example overview, things to accomplish, special activities, websites, reading lists, and supplies you need. These are nice sections to put anything that you're working on for that month, any things you're reading aloud or the child needs for a specific curricula. I like putting down science supply needs, if we're out of markers and need it for that month, etc. That's a good place to put it. This is the monthly spread. I like using these pages to put everything down. I put not just homeschooling related things, but I write down if anybody has a haircut or a dentist appointment or a doctor's visit to go to, any birthdays or special events coming up. I put it in here, and I also put it in our big calendar that we have hanging in our kitchen. I like having it in this planner only because I open this every day, so I'm always looking at it to plan, and to look at the date, etc. So I like putting everything on this. So here's where you get into the weekly assignments and scheduling. The way they have this here is that here would be the subject. You can put the subjects down, and then each child would have an assignment in that specific subject, and you can write that down. And that's why there's 6 spaces. I don't use it that way, but I'll show you how I use it, and it works really great for us. And there's also a notes section. Here you can track the curriculum that you purchase. There's subject and grade, and then the name of the publisher and the curriculum that you're using, where you purchased it from, the price, and any notes that you might have. And then this is an attendance sheet that you can keep track of, all the attendance for the multiple children that you might have or the single child you have. And especially good for if you have to keep records and send in an attendance record to your school district like I have to. I like having these sheets. And there's multiple sheets in the back, and I'll show you that in a second. So now you get into the planning. So you have a 2019 and a 2020 overview of the entire year. There are holidays for each year. It tells you when those fall on which days, and then any special dates you want to remember, you can write them down here. Okay, so this is the student weekly schedule. So this could be for one student here. You could write out their entire week's schedule. If they do some time schedule, you could write that down. We don't use the time schedule, but I do fill this out at the beginning of the year just so I have an idea of where we're starting from, what exactly my long-term vision for the year is. I like having that written down. If it doesn't work out, if things change, it's okay. I actually appreciate that this is here because as the year progresses, I can look back at first quarter or second quarter and see where are we. Did we do everything that we wanted to do? Were there some changes that we made, and why did we make them? Did the curriculum not work? Were the pacing not right? Whatever it may be, I like to just have an idea. So I love to write that down with pen and paper. So that's enough space for all 6 of your children. So I'm just gonna skip over because there are a lot of pages here. And then there's a future planning page here. And then you get into the weekly schedule. There's some scripture. So actually before that, you get into that overview page for July, things to accomplish, special activities, website, reading list, supplies, and then the monthly spread. And then here is where you'd get into the weekly assignment. I will actually show you how we use this in my current planner just because I don't want to write in this one yet. But this is where you would put your weekly assignments. So they have all of that from June all the way to July of the following year. I'm sorry, from July to June. So it starts July 2019, and then it goes all the way to June 2020. And then you have the student records. Again, these are the attendance sheets like they were at the front. There should be enough for 6 students there. Those are the tracker pages. They're just blank. And then you have some extras. Here you have a grading chart if you need to do grades. This is handy to have right here. You just look at the number of problems and the number of incorrect answers, and then it gives you a grade. They have a suggested reading list that they put in the back with every planner, steps to salvation page, suggested scripture to memorize, and then this is extracurricular pages that you can put anything that your child does if they belong to the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts, or they have gymnastics or dance or trumpet or whatever they may do as an activity. You can put it down here. There's information for the leader, activity group, email, notes, etc. Again, enough for 6 children. And then the rest is just notes. And I love these pages because I love writing down things that I'm interested in looking into for like the following year, or if there is a recipe that goes with a certain part of history that we're doing. I like writing all these things down and just having a record of them in my planner. Then you have the back page that has a little pocket. And that is it. I love the colors, I love the gold and the greens. It's a very pretty planner. All right, so I'm just gonna bring out my other planner and show you how I plan and how I use that planning page. So I'll just go into March, as we're not there yet, but I'll go into this. So here, like you saw in the other planner, this would be March, things to accomplish, special activities. The layout's a little different, but you have some of the same stuff. And then here you have some things you can plan out. And then here would be where you put in your assignments. Okay, so the way I use this, I have 3 children, and the way I use this is where the subjects are for the first 3 spots is actually where I put our group subjects. So the first subject for us is always Bible. So I just write in here Bible. And then I use these spots here to put what lesson. So we are currently using BJU Bible. So I would just write BJU. I put in truths. Obviously this will be different for you depending on what you're using. And then I put the lesson, whatever lesson we're on. I put our hymn that we're working on. I put any scripture. If we are working on, for example, Psalm 119:6-8, I would put in Psalm 119, verse 68. This is just an example. And then anything specific to that lesson, that goes here. Next, we do history as a group. So I put history in, and I put our history lesson. We use Beautiful Feet books, and I put what lesson it is, what pages we're reading in our read aloud, activities, etc. And then here I put science. I used to have this spot be our loop schedule because we used to do history and science on a loop, but right now we just split it up and we're going to do history and we're going to do science for the last part of the year. I tweaked our science so it's working out a lot better than it was. So I added our science back in. We were just doing history. I took science out, then I added science back in because I tweaked it, and so it's working well. So the same thing, I put the pages we're reading, any activities, science stuff that we're doing here, and then each one of my children get their own section. So I'm just going to put A, B, and C. So my children's names would be here, and then all their assignments. So whatever their math, their language, their reading, anything that's specific to them would go in their boxes, and that's enough for the entire week. So as you can see, I could get one child can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual subjects that are just for them, and I still have the 3 subjects that we do as a group, and that goes all the way for the entire week. And then I put any notes here. So I really like this layout, the way I do it and tweak it. Maybe this is helpful for you to see if you have, you don't have 6 kids. Maybe you only have 2 children or 4 children. You could still make this work and give each child 6 subjects that they do just on their own, and still add your loop schedule or add in a science, Bible, history, etc. So that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please consider subscribing, and I'd love to talk to you in the comments.